Hey friends, I hope y'all are having a great day today. If you're new here, my name's Alicia, and in today's video, we're doing a extreme grocery budget challenge where I fed my family of 7 for $35 for 1 week. As always, if you or your family are struggling for food, I am begging you to please reach out to your local resources and get the help that you deserve. That's why these things were created, is to help anybody who needs it. You can call 211 if you live in the United States, and they will get you a full list of resources available to you in your area. I also wanted to quickly say that this is not how I would ideally feed my family for 1 week. This is if I only had $35, we had no food in the house whatsoever, that type of situation. It would be a temporary fix until we got back to our regular grocery budget. But I hope y'all enjoy, and let's get started. Alright guys, so I'm actually going to do a voiceover on this part because I think I had my hand over the speaker and I sounded like very muffled and I couldn't even hear myself. So that way y'all will be able to hear me. I'm just going to do a voiceover. So this is everything that we got for our $35 challenge, minus a couple things I'll show here in a minute. So we got 16 bananas. I actually meant to grab 14, but 16 actually worked out perfectly. And you'll see why here later in the video. And then we got 2 pounds of carrots, 3 potatoes, and that was it was a little bit over half a pound of potatoes there. And then we got a 2-pound bag of frozen mixed vegetables. We also have a thing of hot dogs, a package of bologna, a little package of the corned beef lunch meat, and then there's a package of 16 cheese singles. They're American cheese. It's not the kind that turns black whenever you try and melt it and it doesn't melt, but it is still processed cheese singles and they're delicious. 2 pounds of pinto beans, 2 pounds of rice. There's 2 pounds of oats. I got 1 old-fashioned and 1 quick cooking. It doesn't really matter in the end, I don't think. I was just going to get a big tub. They ended up not having that, so I just got 2 of those bags. There's 2 pounds of elbow noodles, 2 boxes of the mac and cheese thick and creamy, a package of mild taco seasoning, a thing of consomme. It's tomato and chicken bouillon cubes. Those are actually about 15 to 20 cents cheaper at my store than the just regular chicken or beef bouillon cubes. 3 loaves of bread, and my toddler squished one on accident. She was giving it a little hug. And then we got a can of tuna, and then a can of cream of mushroom, a can of cream of chicken, and then 1 of the Martha White cornbread mix, and this kind you just need to add water to, a yellow cake mix, a chocolate cake mix, and then a huge box of Berry Crunch has 19 a cup and a third servings. It's like almost 30 ounces, I think. And then 4 of the chicken ramen noodles. And I didn't originally have a plan for those, and then I made a plan for those. And I'm just giving you another quick look at everything. I ended up having a little bit over $1 left to spend. I think it was $1.27. And I used that for 4 more potatoes, I think it was. It was another little over half a pound. And also a discounted bag of pretzels that I found at the Dollar Tree. And I showed the wrong ones. I thought my kids wanted to use the twist ones. They wanted to use the square ones, but it's fine. But I found the pretzels marked down at the Dollar Tree for 50 cents. They do not make or break the week turning out just fine. They were a lucky find, and it just added to a couple of dinners and my kids a couple of lunches. But if they were not there, it wouldn't make a huge difference. Alright, so this one I'm doing a little different. I'm going to go day by day instead of all breakfast, all lunch, all dinner, because there was so much variety. For day one breakfast, we had just plain oatmeal with banana, and I did sprinkle some cinnamon on top, but that is totally unnecessary if you don't have it. We used 2 bananas and 2 cups of oats. For lunch, we had a take on a Hoover soup or stew. This is more like a soup, so I would call it a soup. But I'm actually making it again in the week. And I'm going to show how I make it for that one. And it's just slightly different. And I'll tell you about it then. For dinner on night one, we had beans, fried potatoes, and cornbread. So I used the 3 potatoes, 1 pound of the pinto beans, and I made up that cornbread. I put 1 of the bouillon cubes in there and some salt and pepper, and it was so good. I love beans and cornbread with fried potatoes. Can't go wrong. So on to day 2, I had actually been inspired by Rachel from Rachel Resets to see if I could provide a little bit more variety. She inspired me because she always creates a lot of things out of basically nothing. And you should definitely go check her channel out to see what I'm talking about. But I had already done the shopping, so I only had 2 ingredients to work with. So I made these banana oatmeal pancakes. All you need is 2 cups of oats, 2 bananas, and 1.5 cups of water. If you have a blender, just throw it in and go. These were so good. They were sweet enough that we didn't need sugar. For lunch, this is actually my kids' plate because they actually had this and I had something else that you'll see in a minute. But for 2 days, they had ramen with carrot sticks and pretzels. For dinner on night 2, we had tuna mac. So I just cooked up the macaroni and cheese and made some garlic toast to go along with it. And I cooked my pasta like I did the $3 dinner meal. Alright, day 3. So for breakfast, we had cinnamon sugar toast with banana. You could just do toast and banana. For day 2 lunch, I'm having like a bean mash, and I had this for 2 days along with my sister and my husband. And so my kids had the ramen that you seen from yesterday's for 2 days also. So either way, it would have made enough to feed us all for 1 day each. So I just fried the potato, added in the beans, let it cook down a while. Now I'm adding in the leftover cornbread, and it's really thick like a refried bean, but oh man, was it so good. Delicious. See, it looks like a refried bean. For day 3 dinner, we had a creamy chicken noodle with garlic toast. So I boiled 2 cups of pasta in just barely enough water with some salt. That way I wouldn't have to drain any. I'd have that starchy pasta water. Added in the cream of chicken, 1 cup of veggies, and then made everybody a piece of garlic toast. And it was very good. So now we're on day 4. For breakfast, we had oatmeal cookies. I mashed up 2 bananas. To that, I added a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of vanilla. If you don't have them, no worries. Just don't add them in. They'll still be good. They'll still be great, actually. They're cookies for breakfast. And then I added in 2 cups of oats, gave that a good mix, made them into cookies, and then baked them in the oven. I will leave the recipe in the description. For day 4 lunch, I'm doing the other take on the Hoover soup or stew. So the only difference between this one and the last one is for this one, I am using up the leftover bean broth from the beans and cornbread. And in the other one, I just added more water instead of the bean broth. So I'm starting out with about 3 cups of water, and then I add a little bit of salt. I'm going to add in half a tomato bouillon cube along with the bean broth, which is about 2.5 cups once I added in the extra little bit. And then I did not peel. I chopped up 1 potato into little cubes and 2 very small carrots. If they would have been a little bit bigger, then I would have only probably used 1. I didn't peel the carrots either. I'm also going to make some croutons to go along with this. I just cut up 2 pieces of bread, spritzed it with a little oil, put some garlic powder and parsley on it, and then I just baked it in the oven until it was nice and toasty. I cook the carrots and potatoes until they were soft, and then I'm going to add in half a cup of the frozen mixed vegetables, and then 2 of the hot dogs that I just cut into small little pieces, and then half a cup of the elbow macaroni noodles. That's why I only used 2 cups of pasta with the creamy chicken noodles, is because I knew that I could make that stretch to feed all of us. And then that way I'd have pasta to make this recipe, or both of the recipes that I made. And then I just boiled this until the pasta was fully cooked, and we served it up with some croutons on top. You can see the hot dogs, they swell up quite a lot. And there's the croutons once they're all nice and toasty and delicious. And here's what it looked like. For night for dinner, we did taco beans over like a take on Spanish rice. So for the beans, I just cooked up 1 pound with salt, pepper, and the taco seasoning mix. For the rice, I added some oil to my pot and added 1.5 cups of the frozen mixed veggies. Gave that a stir. I also added in 1 tomato bouillon cube, or I think I might have actually added in half of one. I might have added in the whole one. And then I added in 2 cups of rice, 4 cups of water, and then I brought that up to a boil, put the lid on, put it on a medium low, let it cook for 10 minutes, turn the heat off, let it sit for 10 minutes. And you can see it looks so good. It's got a pink tinge to it because of the food coloring, but it was fabulous. Day 5. So for breakfast, we had oatmeal again. I didn't think to take another picture, so you get the same one. So for lunch on day 5, I made a taco bean and rice soup. I started out with about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of water, and then I added in about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of the taco beans with their broth, and then about 1/4 of a hot dog, about 1/4 of the tomato bouillon cube, and then I'm also going to add in 1/4 cup of the frozen mixed vegetables and let all of that kind of get warm through. And then I'm going to add in about 3/4 of a cup of rice. That might have actually been a full cup. We had plenty of the Spanish rice left over, but we wanted to use that for something else. And you can see I put all of this soup in one of our huge bowls. We actually ended up splitting this, and it was so good. So you'll notice that for today and tomorrow's lunch, I'm doing like small little portions, and it's because my kids actually wanted to work on the leftovers that we had, because we had a few hot dogs, we had a little bit of tuna mac, a little bit of the creamy chicken noodles. They wanted to work on that stuff, so that's what they had during these days. For dinner, we had fried bologna sandwiches, carrot sticks, and pretzels. So we are on day 6, and for breakfast on this day, I made one of my kids' favorites, which is banana ice cream. So on the side, I made some sugar toast, and I actually pan fried it with a little bit of oil. If you pan fry your toast with just a little bit of oil and then put a little bit of sugar, for all of those little toast pieces that you see, I didn't even use 2 teaspoons of sugar. It looks like way more than it is. Anyways, so it really tastes like the sugar biscuits from a Chinese restaurant if you do it like that. But I froze 4 bananas the night before, and that's why I said me getting 2 extra bananas actually worked out perfectly. So I'm going to blend up the bananas. I do add a little bit of cocoa powder. If you don't have cocoa powder or vanilla or anything like that, it's going to be completely and totally okay. Just blend it up like that, and you will be set to go. You won't be able to even tell the difference. It's still going to taste fantastic. But if you have a little bit of milk, use a little milk to kind of get it to a frosty consistency. If not, just use some ice cold water. I've done that plenty of times. I don't remember if I did it this day or not, to be honest, but I know it works out perfectly fine. And here's what it looked like. It's like a frosty consistency, and it's so good. So for lunch on day 6, I'm really just trying to give y'all a different idea, but this is actually something that I really love and I will eat any day for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And it's so simple. It's so silly. It's so simple. So I just make some broth by taking a bouillon cube or bouillon powder with some water. Typically, I honestly do not add frozen vegetables, but for a little bit of health, I'll add it in. I get my broth nice and hot, and I add in my cooked rice, and you are good to go. It's so good. It's crazy how good it is. And me and my sister actually shared this, and it's so filling and comforting. It's kind of like ramen, but with rice. Delicious. For dinner on night 6, we're doing creamy beefy pasta with some carrots on the side and some garlic toast. So I'm using up the rest of the pasta, which is about 3 cups or a pound. And then I'm adding just enough water to barely cover the pasta and adding in one of the bouillon cubes. And then for the carrots, I just chopped off the ends and left the skin on, or the peeling. And added salt, pepper, a little bit of butter, and I think like a pinch of honey to those. If you don't have butter or honey, just salt, pepper. They're going to be fantastic. Once my pasta is cooked, you'll notice it is like a pinky color. It tasted so good. Even though the pasta got dyed pink by the tomato bouillon powder, it tasted phenomenal. But I added in my corned beef and then the can of cream of mushroom, gave that a nice stir, and just like let it cook on low for a couple of minutes. And for the garlic toast, I did the same thing I always do. Y'all can see how it's kind of pinkish. It kind of looks like hamburger helper colored on through the camera, but in person it was pink. But it was so good. It's day 7. Can you even believe it? For breakfast, we had oatmeal pancakes again, and I didn't get a picture again. For lunch, my husband took the last potato, the leftover rice, the leftover taco beans, and he added like some hot sauce and some seasonings, and he made like this amazing skillet meal. For dinner, we had grilled cheese, pretzels, and carrot sticks. So on to dessert and snack, which is not much, but it is something. But I mentioned in my Dollar Tree video that you can make cake mixes without the eggs or oil. Now, if you want to do it with cupcakes, what worked for me to make it to where it wouldn't stick to the wrapper is you need to refrigerate it overnight, and then somehow something magical happens, and the next day it peels away just fine. But you're left with a cold cupcake, which my family all loved. We didn't mind not having frosting because the cake mix has sugar in it. Days 1, 2, and 3, we had chocolate cupcakes. Day 4, we had some chocolate, some vanilla. Day 5 and 6, we had vanilla. Day 7, there was 6 left, so somebody got an extra thing of cereal. And each day, everyone got half a cup of cereal. Of course, I just staged all those cupcakes and just let everybody kind of choose what they wanted each day, and it worked out fine. Yeah. I hope y'all always remember that Jesus loves y'all, and I love y'all too. I hope y'all have a fantastic day. See you soon. Bye.